What's up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Jeremiah and my YouTube channel is Universal Mastery. So what I do on my channel is I break down the occult sciences to a very practical level so that you can use them, understand them, and apply them in your day-to-day life to get real, actual results, okay? Physical manifestation. We want to make sure this stuff is tangible. So if we do it enough times and we get the same result, that is something that I consider to be tangible. So these are the types of things that I'm talking about on my YouTube channel. And it's all geared around the occult sciences. So what we're going to be doing in today's video is we're going off of the first video that I made. So this is going to be a part 2 sequence of what I covered in the first video, which was the Sephiroth. So the Sephiroth is a part of the tree of life, okay, and it's the front of the tree, okay. The tree of death is still a part of the same tree. You could think, I mean, it's still considered the tree of life. Let me word that better. So the Qlippoth, so this is the Sephiroth, then the Qlippoth would be known as what some people call the tree of death. It's still the same tree, it's just the shadow of that tree, okay? So once again, what I'm going to be covering in today's video is the Qlippoth and the tunnels of Set. I'm going to tell you where they're located, and I'm going to go through the different Qlippothic spheres so that you have an understanding of this tree of life in general. And definitely, if you're just tuning in for this video, because I know there are people that want to go straight to the dark stuff, and that tends to gravitate a lot of people definitely go to the first video, the part 1 first, okay? It's important to follow this in order so that you know what's really going on here, because this is the occult information that the most professional magicians that exist on our planet have an understanding of in today's time. Okay, so definitely stay tuned for the rest of this video. That's what we're going to be going into. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is definitely make sure you check out my Patreon. On my Patreon, I have exclusive content. Some of that content is going to be geared towards actual spiritual practices that I perform on camera, and I teach you how to perform them yourself. For example, like an invocation, which is one of the most foundational things that you need to know how to do to get success in the occult when it comes to working with spirits and to gaining the power from spirits. Okay, and then the other bit of the videos are going to be geared towards what I like to call educational entertainment. So that's going to be a video that's similar to this, very similar. It's educational. You're getting a lot of value from it, but at the same time, it's entertaining. So you can literally throw it on your headphones, go about your day, and gain value from it, just like that. Okay, so where you're going to be able to find my Patreon is when you go to the description. You're going to hit that drop down. As it drops down, there's going to be that first link right there. It says My Patreon right next to that link. That is where my Patreon is. Okay, so you click that, and then to gain access to the exclusive videos, you have to at least be a tier 2 member or up. So in order to be a tier 2, it literally costs $9.95 a month, and that comes out to less than $1 a day. So there's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't be able to afford that with the value that I have on there, and I guarantee you that is a fact. Okay, I have powerful knowledge on my Patreon. So that's where you'll be able to go to gain access to the Patreon. That's the tier that you need to be to gain access to the exclusive videos. As you go up in tiers, I have 4 tiers altogether. The benefits increase as you go up, so I'll let you check that out for yourself. And rolling right off of that, I want to give a special shout out to the top tier members of the Patreon already. Their names are going to be mentioned right below that Patreon link. So huge shout out to you, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, other than that, let's go right into this video. Okay, so here, this is the Sephiroth. This is what I've already covered. Okay, so you have an understanding of the front of the tree. And then remember, this is important. I'm not going to go into depth about the, too crazy about the tunnels of Set. So I'm not going to go through every single tunnel because I'm going to make a whole series on going through every single tunnel. And I will be uploading that to my main YouTube channel. Okay, but this is what you need to understand, is this is the Sephiroth, which is the front of the tree of life. And then if I was to go to the back of this, so if I just drew a little arrow right there, and this arrow represented the back side of this front tree right here, the Sephiroth, this is where the tunnels of Set would be. The tunnels are the different pathways that run through the tree. So you'll notice that the tree has these little pathways that runs through it, okay? So there'll be these little pathways that run through the tree. There we go, boom, boom. So you can see all these little pathways that are running through the tree. So these pathways essentially are what take you from one sphere to another sphere. And every one of these pathways is attributed to a certain tarot card. So when you take the tarot deck, every card is attributed to one of these pathways. And obviously if you know tarot, every tarot card has a specific meaning to it, a specific attribution, and a specific, almost you could think of like an archetype, like a whole embodiment to it, like a whole characteristic, a whole state of being. So you could think of the spheres as being different perceptions, like different locations. So for example, you travel to a place that you don't normally go to. Let's say, I'm going to create a hypothetical story. So I live in Florida, and then if I was to travel to Colorado, that would be a place that I'm not used to. So I'm used to Florida because I live here right now. I'm used to my environment, but then I go to Colorado, I visit, and everything feels a little bit different. So if you've ever had that feeling where things just feel different because you're in a different location, that's what you can think of as the spheres, okay? It's kind of like that different, it's like a whole different type of perception. The pathways are going to be more like an archetype. So the pathways are going to be your embodiment of the state of being that you have. So even though you could be in a different location and feel different from that alone, imagine you also having a different state of mind while you're there. So the environment's different. That already sparks a little bit of a change in your perception. But then let's say you connect with a group of people that you don't normally connect with, and you know, sometimes by hanging out with certain people, they actually make you feel different. You know, they make you feel like, oh, you know, these people are fun to be with. These people aren't fun to be with. These people talk about business. These people talk about health. These people are low lives and they don't talk about anything. These people are drug addicts. You know, when you hang out with different types of people, there's a different type of archetypal energy with that. So the pathways you could think of as that type of archetypal energy. And very often you will come into contact when you're working with these pathways with certain types of people that resemble the attributions connected to that tarot card. And you'll see that archetype of that tarot typically in others around you, and you'll notice it in yourself if you have that level of awareness. So these pathways, this is all leading up to the tunnels of Set. So these pathways are the same pathways, except if I flip the tree over, once again taking it to the tunnels of Set, where universe B is, because remember this is universe B, the tunnels of Set is universe B, the front side is universe A. If I flip it to the back where the tunnels of Set are, it's the same exact thing. The tunnels look the same, everything looks the same, except now you're in the demonic realm. So if you pay attention, all of these pathways, you know, being connected to the tarot, when you take it to universe B, you're essentially working with the same thing, except you're getting the shadow aspect of it. So here, you're getting all the virtues, okay? The front side, you're getting all the virtues, all the good things, all the things you want, all the happiness, all the joy, all the love. And then in the tunnels of Set, you're getting all the disease, you're getting all the suffering, you're getting all the pain, and you're getting all the things that are not going your way, all the chaos, all the demonic forces. So that's where the universe B is, and that's the tunnels of Set. So as I said, when you work with the tree in the wrong way, with the wrong pillars, doing the wrong types of rituals given to you by people that didn't know what they were doing, that dumps you into the tunnels of Set. So then you start getting tortured, and you don't know how to get out of it if you're not a left-hand path magician, because you don't work with those energies. You don't work with them and take on their power and take on the types of alchemy that they can do for you so that you can move through them, and you don't have the same level of protection or guidance. So as you can tell, being a right-hand path magician, it's very dangerous because you can get dumped on the into the tunnels of Set, which is literally, as I said, the same setup. So every one of these would be a different tunnel, and that would be connected to the 22 tunnels of Set. Set being a chaos entity, a dark entity. It's Horus and Set, two different aspects of the same energy. One is the light aspect and one is the chaotic aspect. Set, tunnels of Set, is the chaotic tunnels. There's you know, as I said, every tunnel is connected to a different disease. It's got a different type of suffering to it, a different type of like extreme challenge. But once again, if you're a left-hand path magician, you consciously work with the tunnels of Set because there's massive amounts of power to gain through the tunnels of Set. There's more power to gain in the tunnels of Set than there is on the front side of the tree. And that's why we work with the whole tree in its totality. Because if you only work with the good things in life, everything good, everything all wonderful, yeah, you could gain some power, you know, you can gain some understanding, sure. But if you work with the totality of it and you face the dark side and you gain the understanding of the dark side and you incorporate the dark aspect of life as well and integrate that in your being, then you truly become a really powerful person. Okay, you become, as I said, yeah, a very powerful person. So that's what left-hand path magicians do, is we work with the tunnels of Set, but once again, we have a lot more protection than someone that doesn't work with the tunnels of Set, than someone that accidentally gets dumped in them, than someone that doesn't work with demons or the Qlippothic entities. Oh, I only work with angels, I only channel light beings. That's the kind of person that usually gets dumped into the tunnels of Set and then wonders why their life sucks, okay? And then they stay like that for a long time until their soul fully gets shellized and then everything just declines, okay? So now we have the understanding of the tunnels of Set. It is on the back side of the Sephiroth. The Qlippoth, people think that the tunnels of Set run in between the Qlippothic spheres, okay? That is not true. The tunnels of Set do not run through the Qlippothic spheres. The tunnels of Set are on the back of the Sephiroth, the back side of the Sephiroth. The Qlippoth is the shadow of the Sephiroth, so it's just the bottom side of it. It's just the projected shadow. Okay, so it's all the devices of all these spheres, but it also is the demonic realm. It's in universe B. Okay, so for any of you that think the tunnels of Set are connected between the Qlippothic spheres, that's not true. Okay, but when you work to initiate yourself through the Qlippoth and open up the Qlippothic shells to work through them, the power zones are connected to the tunnels of Set. So by working through the Qlippoth, if you do Qlippothic initiation and it's, you know, in a proper way, you can find yourself going through the tunnels of Set on the backside of this tree very easily. That's what I did for myself. I started off with Qlippothic initiation, starting from the very first sphere going in order, and then I found myself in the tunnels of Set. Okay? Because the power zones, once again, of the Qlippoth, of the Hell Realm, it's still Universe B. So the power zones are still connected to the tunnels of Set, but they're just not connected to the spheres of the Qlippoth. It's just the front side, the Sephiroth, just the back side of it. Okay? So here we go. So I'm going to go into this. Alright, I got my phone here. And then hopefully you guys will be able to see that. So I'm going to start here. Can you see that? Let me just make sure. Cool, perfect. Okay. So we got that. Okay, you guys still there? Okay. Okay, so the top one is Nehemoth. Then we have Lilith. Okay, or Gamaliel. I like to call it Gamaliel. Then we have Samael. I'm gonna put Sam. Then we have Arab. Arab-Zarak. Arab. We'll put a Z there. Then we have Daguerreon. Daguerreon. We have Golacha. Golacha. Then we have Gog Shabla. G-H-A-G. I'm going to put Gog for now. Then we have Sephiroth. Sephiroth. Then we have Gagil. G-H-A-G-I-E-L. And then we have Thamael. Okay, so the same thing with the Qlippoth. This usually isn't too much of a problem because there's not a lot of people really break down Qlippothic initiation. So you're not going to really get the same thing in the different books of the the orders of the OTO or the Golden Dawn, where it's based like pretty much half of their practices are geared off using the wrong directions for, once again, north, east, south, and west, and then they're working with the wrong side of the tree. So there's not many other orders that have the wrong versions of how to initiate into the Qlippoth, because they typically don't have their own ritualistic system to initiate through the Qlippoth. So you don't usually run into this problem where you have to worry about certain books working with the wrong pillars for the Qlippoth, because it's the wrong way as well. Like a lot of black magicians that have knowledge about the Qlippoth and have knowledge about the Tree of Life, they don't know about the pillars being swapped. So they'll do the same thing with the Qlippoth as well. So typically, Samael and Arab-Zarak, most occultists, left-hand path occultists, think this is Samael and they think this is Arab-Zarak. But remember, we switch things because we want to work with the front side of the Qlippoth. And a lot of people don't know that there's a back side of the Qlippoth, which is a different type of universe B. Okay, so there's a whole backside. I'm going to put an arrow for that. A whole backside to the Qlippoth, which you could think of as an uppercase universe B. Okay, so the tunnels of Set in the Qlippoth in general is universe B, but then there's a backside of the Qlippoth, which a lot of people don't know, which is why it's important to understand that the tunnels of Set are not connected to the Qlippoth. But a lot of people don't know there's a backside to the Qlippoth that is a different type of universe B, and that's the realm of Amalek. So, we'll spell it like that. Amalek, leak. Amalek. Maybe one. Amalek. Well, alright, so that's the realm of Amalek, which means mother strength. Okay, and that's the realm of reptiloids. That's the realm of dragons. Okay, that's why I have all these dragons tattooed on me. That's the realm of the black dragon. Okay, and this dragon devours everything. Everything that is... anyone who can access the realm of Amalek, which the way you can get there is through, full initiation through the Qlippoth. When you access that realm, you have the power of dragons. Okay, so if you think of the Game of Thrones, and you think of Queen Daenerys, she has the power of dragons. So that's occult symbolism being put in a movie about the realm of Amalek. And once again, the nature of the reptiloids and the nature of these dragons is they devour anything that the person who works with them wants them to devour. And they can destroy anything. They can destroy the world as you know it and rebuild it in the eyes of the black magician who has that power. Okay, so that's that. So the way the energy flows from here, okay, so from the Qlippoth, it's different. The energy flows upwards. So from the Sephiroth, the energy flows from here, the top, down. From the Qlippoth, the energy flows from the top, or the bottom up. But this is the first sphere, essentially. So it starts here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. So it starts here. We go to Thamael, to Gagil, Sateriel, Golachab, or excuse me, Gog Shabla, then to Golachab. Then to Golachab, then to Thagirion, then to Arab-Zarak, then to Samael, then Lilith, or Gamaliel, whatever you want to call it, then Nehama. Okay? So the way the energy flows is this way. So boom, 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 boom. So we have the reverse lightning bolt going upwards. So when you think about the Kundalini rising, the Kundalini is the serpent energy. So remember, this is the hell realms. Okay, these are the spheres of hell. And when you look at the story of Adam and Eve, it was the serpent, which is in regards to the dragons from universe B, the other universe B on the backside of the Qlippoth. That's the realm of the dragon. So when they're referring to the serpent, they're not just meaning a snake, they're referring to an actual dragon, because that's the realm of the dragon. So that's the tree of knowledge. So in order to gain the knowledge or the power from the dragons to access the dragon realm, you have to have worked through the tree of knowledge, which is the Qlippoth. Okay, so this is these spheres right here, and these are all different hell realms. So you could think of these as, you know, as I explained the Sephiroth, you know, they're different experiences, things of that nature. This is the shadow of all of these. So all the good things from these, all the virtues of these, this is the vice. Okay, but if you're a left-hand path initiate, you can work through it and not be affected the same way that a person who is not a left-hand path would be affected, or from someone who doesn't know about it. Because remember, a lot of people's souls in our life and around us, a lot of people's souls are trapped in one of these spheres. Okay? These are all different hell realms. So when you hear about the story in the Bible where your soul will go to hell, or your soul, people are alive right now and their souls are in hell. Okay? You can think of, remember, when people give up on life completely and then they accept mediocrity, that person's soul is in hell and it's being tortured because they gave up on their power. They gave up on their ability to say, fuck that, it's my birthright to create the life that I want to live. And it takes a lot of discipline and a lot of willpower to actually create the life you want to live, because you have to go through all of these different levels of initiation. You know, once again, you don't necessarily have to be aware of it. It can be an unconscious thing, but if you're going to be going as deep as you can, the deepest way to do it, by traveling through the Qlippoth, then working with the tunnels of Set, and then getting to the realms of the dragons, you do have to have some knowledge. You do have to be a high-level magician to be able to do that. You can't do that unconsciously. You have to actually trigger that. But as I said, people's souls right now are trapped in these hell realms. Okay? So this Samael is the dual-headed dragon. So that's left versus right. That's Republican versus Democrat. How many people do you know that that's the only thing they live for? Is, oh, I'm a Republican or I'm a Democrat. And that's literally everything they say, do, and think is based on either they're a Republican or Democrat. That is someone whose soul is trapped in Samael, and they don't even realize it. That's why they wake up. It's why they go to sleep. It's why they get up in the morning and do what they do, because they stand for, I'm a Republican or I'm a Democrat. And this is a structure created by our own government, which is the dual dragon. Okay, the two-headed dragon, left or right, the master of duality. And people's soul, remember, their purpose is based on that. So that would be someone whose soul is trapped in there. And there's a level of torturing that comes from that, because they can never find peace. Okay, then you have Gagil, that's the realm of disease, sickness, insects, that's ruled by Beelzebub. So this is the realm of disease. So anyone that's suffering from disease, their soul is stuck there. Okay, if someone has chronic diseases, those types of chronic disorders, their soul is stuck in Gagil. And Beelzebub is slowly and surely torturing them and taking all their energy and giving it to people like me. Okay, then we have Sateriel, where there's no light. This is someone who doesn't see any light. And what do I mean by that? This is someone who doesn't see the bright side of anything. They only see downside. They only see how things are getting worse and worse and worse and can't get better. Okay, they only see the downside. They only see the cup empty, not half full. Always empty. That would be someone whose soul is stuck in Sateriel. Then we have that we have another hidden sphere there. Then we have Gagil. Excuse me. So 3, yeah, 4. So then we have, my bad, Gog Shabla. right here, Gog Shablah. So this would be the realm of unfairness. Gog Shablah is, there is no mercy. It's not fair. Like, you're just being pounded to the wall. Okay, like your job is calling you and saying, we need you, we need you, we need you, giving you no rest, not letting you take a step back, always on your ass, always on your tail, saying, we need you, we need you, we need you, we need you in at this day, we need you in at this day. You're not getting extra pay, they're just using you. That is someone whose soul is stuck in Gog Shablah. Okay? How many, so with what I'm saying right now, how many people do you know that are stuck, or how many people have you seen that are stuck in these realms? Their souls are literally trapped in these realms. That's a lot of people. A lot of people. How many people do you know that have jobs that don't give them a break? That literally push them to the limit all the time. Hey, we need you in at this time. Can you do it? Okay, good, because you could lose your job otherwise. That kind of idea, that would be someone whose soul is stuck in Gog Shablah. Then we have Qlippoth. This is people that get beat up. This is people that want to beat others up. This is people that have, like, this is like serial killers. Qlippoth. This is people that have a fiery aggressiveness, anger that they can't control, and they don't know why. They're just so, they hate life, and they're very aggressive, and they want to hurt others just because it gives them, that's what gives them their fuel, gives them their spark, is by causing pain to others. They have a constant burning. Or maybe it could be someone that has insane amounts of inflammatory problems, where their insides are completely inflamed. You know, that's all connected to Qlippoth. It's that warfare. So this would be the reverse of Gavura. So all of these are the reverse, the shadow of the Sephiroth. So this is the, remember, Gavura is the most violent sphere. This, on the Qlippothic side, you thought you knew violence until you went there, okay? My battery died, so I'm picking up right where I left off. So I was talking about Gavura and Qlippoth. So this is way worse, okay? On the Qlippothic side, you thought this was violent. This is 10 times worse. And I went through all of these spheres. I've been to every single one of these. But once again, because I'm left-hand path, my soul didn't get stuck in any of these. I moved through them, okay? Astrally and physically. So in my day-to-day life, I was experiencing what every one of these was. So I had met people that were stuck in all these different realms. I met people that were highly influenced by all these realms. I was working with the spirits that govern every one of these realms. And I was traveling through them. So I was going from one to the other, to the other, to the other. And at the same time, going through the tunnels of Set, which are on the back side of the Sephiroth. So yeah, so I was going through all these, so I know exactly what it was like. That was a crazy experience. This one, and it possesses you. Like when you're going through this, when your soul is traveling through these hell realms, you get highly influenced by that. You know, you can't just pass through these and just be the observer. You're not just gonna notice it, you're gonna be influenced by it. So when I was in this realm, I was fucking fired. I almost got in a fight with a guy 5 times my size. I was yelling at this person that I worked with, like in their face, just, who the fuck do you think you are? It was crazy. But yeah, that was that. Then there's Daguerreon. That is the black sun. Daguerreon. What, I'm trying to remember what that stands for. Daguerreon. I'm forgetting, but it pretty much has to do with not having balance. Daguerreon, not being in balance, because this is balanced, would not be balanced. So this would be like a misunderstanding of your assemblage point, meaning you don't know how to balance it. So there's that. Then you come to Arab Zarak, which is known for the ravens of dispersion. So this being connected to Netzach, victory, this would be like not having a victory. Okay, this would be working really hard for something and not being able to accomplish it. Okay, you worked really hard for something and it never worked out. Okay, you just can't be victorious. That's Arab Zarak. Daguerreon, once again, that was like not being able to have balance. So whenever you see people that are like way out of balance, You know, that can manifest in many different ways. But if you find people or know people that are way out of balance and they've been like that for a long time, their souls are trapped in Daguerreon. Once again, if someone just can never win, and they're always like, I never win, I never, you know, I can't do things successfully, I just can't seem to win, their souls are trapped in Arab Zarak. Then you have Samael, which is which is known as the poison of God. So that is going to be toxic masculine. Okay, so that's going to be like, yeah, like a toxic masculine person. You could almost think of that. I mean, that's the way it kind of manifested in my life, because it's connected to Samael, which is the archangel Samael, but also the archdevil Samael, which is the same. It's like the shadow version of the angelic Samael. Samael is a dynamic spirit. He's an angel and he's also a demon, and he has strong rulership in the Qlippoth. So Samael will manifest as a masculine person who is toxic, and that's pretty much it. Toxic in the sense of doesn't look out for your best interests, will take advantage of you if they can, and makes you have to be very aware of what's going on around you, because that person is looking to screw you over. And that's how this would manifest. So if you're in your life and you have a toxic boss, that's like, you could think of like a masculine toxic boss that is never looking out for your best interest, or you know someone like that in your life. Relationships, how many relationships do you know with females that have toxic boyfriends where they're cheating and they're telling their girlfriends that no, everything's all good, you know, I love you, babe. Like, that's this realm. That's where their souls are trapped, where they're just attracted to the bad guys, the guys that have no good intentions. Okay, how many girls do you know that are attracted to those kinds of guys and they keep doing that over? It's because their souls are in Samael. Okay, then we have Lilith or Gamaliel. That's the realm of the astral. So that's going to be someone that can't sleep at night. That's going to, like, someone whose soul is trapped in there is someone who can't sleep at night because they have terrible dreams. Someone who sees ghosts all the time and is scared of it, is terrified of it. Someone who has massive mental visions or psychic visions of like monsters or creatures that they don't understand and they don't know why it's happening, and they're technically in our society would be classified as losing their mind or insane or psychic or psychologically ill. That's someone whose soul is stuck in Gamaliel or Lilith. Okay, and then we have Nahemoth. That is going to be similar to Samael, but in the female perspective. So Nahemoth is going to be the realm of the toxic feminine, the fierce toxic feminine. Okay, like the feminine, like if you have a female boss and she is just extremely toxic, she doesn't let you have your way, she doesn't listen to you, she doesn't let you do what doesn't let you add to the party or to the bigger thing, to the bigger picture of things. Is she always has to be right. She is always doing things incorrectly, but because she's doing it, it's right. That would be Nahemoth. If you've ever been in a relationship, for any men where they've been in a relationship with a toxic female, that's once again very similar to the Samael aspect, where the female's cheating on you, and she's telling you she loves you, she's lying to you, she's encouraging you to make decisions that are gonna hurt you in the long run. That would be someone's soul who is stuck in Nahemoth. And then that would connect right to Malkuth from the Sephiroth. So this would be more so the physical plane. So we definitely see a lot of this in our society. So there's a lot of people's soul, there's a lot of guys' soul who are stuck in Nahemoth. A lot of men. But yeah, so that's that. So you might be thinking right now watching this like, whoa, holy shit, that's mind-blowing. Like, I see that in my life, and it's kind of crazy to see me break this down to on a whiteboard and kind of explain where people are in our society and what you may have gone through or may be in right now. Because I've definitely been through these hell realms unaware before, trapped in them. So you might be wondering, like, okay, well, how do I get out of it? Okay, how do I not have this happen to me anymore? And like, I'm starting to wake up, I'm starting to become aware, and I don't want to be stuck in something like that. So this is where the left-hand path comes in handy, because as a left-hand path magician, we don't walk this front side of the tree only. We initiate through Nehemoth, and we work our way down to Thamiel. And as you work your way down, you could think of it as, once again, what I explained with the Sephiroth, these are different power zones. Okay, so as you're activating these different power zones, these power zones are also connected to the tunnels of Set, which is the backside of this tree. Okay, so you're going to be working through this. So as you can see, the pathways on here, the front side, aren't on this side. This is just the shadow of these spheres, just the shadow. So the tunnels of Set are going to be these pathways just on the backside. So when you're opening these power zones, the shadow of the Sephiroth, you're able to work through the tunnels of Set, the backside. Okay? So as a left-hand path magician who initiates through this sphere, or through any of these spheres, but you would want to start here, you are inverting the inversion. Okay, so remember what I said, that if you take universe A and bring universe A into universe B, that's where the tunnels of Set are, then you dump yourself into the tunnels of Set as a right-hand path, and then that's when everything goes wrong. That's when everything gets inverted on you. If you initiate through Nehemoth and work with the shadow of the tree, then you're automatically opening up universe B. So you're not going from universe A and then dumping yourself into universe B. You're actually just opening universe B in a much more directed type of initiation, like a much more directed gateway can be open for you to enter into universe B. And then bring universe B into universe A. So then you bring this, the darkness from the Qlippoth and from the tunnels of Set, to universe A. Okay, and really in its totality, that brings balance to Earth. So when you look at things from a God perspective or from a source perspective, that's actually really important to do. We need people that work through the left-hand path and go through the tunnels of the tunnels of Set and the Qlippoth to bring that energy into the real world to bring more balance. Okay, so by working through that and initiating because remember, all of these spheres on the Sephiroth are attributed to a different angel, a different archangel, and then that angel has its own spirits attributed to it as well. Well, we're over here in the Qlippoth, all of these spheres are attributed to a different archdemon or archdevil. So here we have Nama, here we have Lilith, then we have Samael, then we have, who is it? I want to say this is Azazel. I'm forgetting this one. I believe this is Lucifer. Daigirion should be Lucifer. Golachab is Asmodee. Gog Shabla is Gog Shabla. That's crossing my mind right now. Then we have Satariel. That's going to be Lucifuge Rofacal. Then we have Gagil. That's going to be Beelzebub. Then we have Thamiel, which is going to be Moloch and Satan. Okay? So as you're working through these different spheres, opening them up, doing the same process that I said with this one, initiating yourself through this, if you want to, your intention should be you want to gain the power that resides in these spheres, then you're also going to want to do invocations of the spirits that reside in these shells, in these hell realms. So if I'm going to open up Nehemoth, I'm going to invoke Nama, and I'm going to set up a ritual to communicate with Nama to open up this sphere so that I can work through it with protection, with guidance, and gain the power from it. So you would do that with all these different spheres. And when you do that, as I said, you invert the inversion. So remember, you're not bringing universe A into universe B. You're just opening up universe B and then bringing universe B into universe A. So it's inverting the inversion. So all the bad things that most people experience from these different hell spheres and hell shells, you are now not getting the same thing that the average person would. So when you're going through initiation, the initiations are always going to be challenging. It's not a walk in the park. It's not like everything's all flowers, but to the average person who's existing in universe A only, these are extremely dangerous. Okay, this, as I said, these are hell realms. So to the average person, this is something that they can't even take too much of. Like for the average person, you can't travel from this one to this one to this one to this one. You can't. You just can't. You don't even have access to that. Okay, and it would be too much on your system. But for the person who initiates, using the spirit to provide extra energy for you to travel through these hell realms, you can go through them more so as an initiation, as an observer, learning from the experience, coming into certain types of challenges and then overcoming those challenges, learning from the challenges, meeting certain types of people, changing your state of mind, changing your belief system. You can do all of that if you are a left-hand path initiate, working with the left-hand path spirits that are a part of the Qlippoth. Okay, and then once again, they guide you and they give you energy to travel through these, which the right-hand path magician or the average person does not have. Okay, so that's why it's important to be a left-hand path magician. And our earth needs more of them anyways. There's way too many light workers, way too many people that fuck themselves over. We need real left-hand path magicians. So if that's you, join the Patreon. And on my Patreon, I'm also breaking down every one of these spheres in a lot of depth. So if you want to know about every single sphere, all their attribution, the spirit that is connected with them, you'll find that on my Patreon. But yeah, so that's that. So these are those spheres. And then, as I said, the tunnels of Set being on the back of the Sephiroth. You could think of it's like this. It's a similar format, but the tunnels of Set, because okay, so the power zones are in the Qlippoth, are also connected to the front side of the tree. So the Sephiroth. So these power zones are connected to the front. It's just the shadow, as I said. So if the tunnels of Set are on the back of the Sephiroth, that means that when you're working through the Qlippoth, because the power zones are connected together, you're actually able to work with the tunnels of Set because you're already in universe B. Okay? So basically, in short, what I'm saying is when you work with the Qlippoth and you initiate yourself, you'll find yourself traveling the tunnels of Set. And you're not going to be getting all the same repercussions that the average person would get, who would get dumped into the tunnels of Set unconsciously, or not knowing because they made a mistake and they were right-hand path and they refused to work with demons, or they refused to work with dark matter energy. It would be a totally different experience. It's, remember, the inversion of the inversion. So that means whatever is normally bad or evil for the average person actually becomes good for the left-hand path, because we are universe B. They're universe A. We're universe B, they're universe A. Two different universes. So a left-hand path magician and a right-hand path magician, true left-hand path and true right-hand path, they don't see eye to eye necessarily. They don't see, and when I say eye to eye, I don't mean in a confrontational way. I don't mean in a, like, they don't like each other way. What I mean is they don't see things the same way. They literally have completely different views of everything because they're coming from two different universes. But if you have two right-hand path magicians that are serious right-hand path magicians, they'll see things in a similar way. They'll have similar understandings because they're viewing the same reality. They're viewing the Sephirothic reality, which is very connected to Source, which is wanting to reach unity and stay in that position. But then you have two left-hand path magicians, two real left-hand path magicians, and they will be seeing eye to eye in regards to how do we become, more powerful, and how do we pretty much rule the world. That's literally what left-hand path magicians really want to do at the end of the day. is they want to learn how to constantly increase their power and utilize that power here on the physical plane, and then also make sure that they know how to set themselves up for the next life to come once this, physical life ends for them, so that they can literally choose their destiny, choose their destination once they pass. So the left-hand path magician is creating that link with source and going beyond source. So remember the negative veils of existence. So they're going beyond that. But yeah, so that's that. So with all the different tunnels that you see, there are different, this is the front side of the tree. If we took it to the tunnels of Set, where I said all the diseases are, there's more, every tunnel is associated with a specific demon, and it's also associated with the tarot. If you're left-hand path and you're working through the tunnels of Set, every one of these tunnels has a specific power that you can gain once you've worked through it. And same with, just like with the spheres. Every sphere, once you've worked through it and you've initiated through it, which usually takes a month to 2 months, then you activate that within yourself. You literally activate that power within yourself, okay? And as you can tell, there's a lot of tunnels and there's a lot of power to be gained. And as you're working with these spheres, you're also, so with Golachab, you would also be working with Gavura, because this is the shadow. And if you're working with the shadow, that means you're also able to access the light, because everything comes from darkness. So if you're already starting off with the darker reality, universe B, you're also going to activate universe A. So you're going to get the light aspect of it too. So if I was working with Golachab, I would also experience Gavura. So it's actually a more balanced path to take. But if I was working with universe A and refusing to work with the demonic or refusing to work with the shadow, I don't have access to this power zone. So I wouldn't even be able to get access to Golachab, and I wouldn't know what Golachab is even about. So that's less power, which means not a good thing for the left-hand path magician. So really the left-hand path is the more balanced path, okay? And it's not only is it the more balanced path, but it's the path of more power, but it's also a harder path to initiate through. So I told you there's a lot more traps with this path. There is a lot more traps. So you've got to really know yourself, know thyself to do this successfully. You got to trust yourself. You got to have a strong willpower, strong mindset. This path is harder to do in its totality, but there's less traps. Okay, so it's going to be more taxing on your psychological, mental, emotional, and physical for this path, for the left-hand path, but there's less traps. So you have all the tools you need to recourse your direction. Okay, so if you make a mistake here, you can course correct. You can approach it from a different angle and be back on track towards initiation and be back on track towards moving forward. If you make the wrong mistake here and you're in universe A, if you make the wrong mistake that's big enough, like doing a ritual from any of these occult orders like the OTO or the Golden Dawn, then you will find yourself dumped into universe B on the backside of the tree where the tunnels of Set are, and now you're stuck in the tunnels of Set. And the only way you're going to be able to get through the tunnels of Set is if you become a left-hand path magician. If you stay in the tunnels of Set as a right-hand path magician, you can work through that. You have to have massive amounts of discipline, almost unhuman-like, to work through it properly and be successful with that, which most people do not do successfully. If they do get dumped into the tunnels of Set, they don't do it successfully because it's way more challenging, because then you'll be working through all the tunnels of Set and you'll be having to fight against the demons that exist in the tunnel rather than working with them, using them as guides or initiators, just because you were too stubborn, because you didn't understand how energy really works and that everything truly does come from darkness. So utilizing chaos to your benefit to help you evolve in life and to help you ascend is truly the wiser perspective to have, okay, in life in general. So, so as I was saying, this path is harder to get through, but when you make mistakes, you just recourse and you continue forward. This path, if you make the wrong mistake, you get dumped into the tunnels of Set, and then you get confronted with a major question of, do I become a left-hand path magician now to get myself out of this? Or do I go head straight forward and find a way to make it through the tunnels of Set, which I don't recommend because the tunnels of Set are not easy to get through and there's a lot of danger in them. So you would have a lot more danger at your front door, okay? So you can kind of see, okay? There's a little bit of a give and a take there. So that's that. But yeah, other than that, once again, on my Patreon, I'm covering all the Qlippothic spheres, exactly what they represent. I've already covered the Sephiroth on my Patreon, every single sphere. I broke it down from my own personal experience. I've worked through all of this, okay? I've worked through this, okay? Right now, I'm actually in the last tunnel. I'm in this tunnel, but on the tunnels of Set. So that'd be tunnel 22 of the tunnel of Set, called Tonantzih. That's the tunnel that I'm working through currently. But I've went through everything, and it's literally that final tunnel that I'm working through. And yeah, I definitely have a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge on this, and it is the path to real power. So if you know about the tree and you are in the occult, if you're in the occult and you claim to have power and you claim to know what you're capable of and you claim to know what you can do and you claim to know what you're talking about, you better know about this. Okay, you better know about what I'm talking about here. And if you don't, that's fine. You know, there's obviously going to be people that don't, but you want to educate yourself. And you don't want to just write this stuff up like, oh, that's not real, it's not true. If you're going to consider yourself to be a professional occultist, because you should know this, okay? And there's not a lot of people that do know this. I didn't know this for a very long time. I recently came across the knowledge of the true tree and where the tunnels of Set were located and how exactly the Qlippoth was, you know, just the shadow aspect, the bottom half, and then there was a realm of Amalek. Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know about Amalek, but I educate myself, and this is what I constantly do, you know, and this is a big crossing of information that I've come across that I'm now sharing with others, and yeah, it's important to understand, you know, especially if you, once again, you consider yourself a high-level magician, okay? And then, then you get to the realm of Amalek, and that is the realm of reptiloids. That's the realm of mother strength. That is going to be the realm of pure power, okay? Where everything is sublimed. Everything that's complete chaos is in the realm of Amalek, which is the second universe B behind the Qlippoth. Everything that could be considered chaos is in the favor and serves the black magician who can access Amalek, that realm, the realm of Amalek, okay? So that's where I'm gonna leave it. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit a thumbs up. Also, hit the notification bell and hit the subscribe button because I post videos as often as I can, and I know that I will post a video at the time that you need to hear it, when you need to hear it, okay? Other than that, remember the Patreon. When you go to the description below, it's gonna be that very first link at the top. So that is where I'm covering all of these different spheres. Right now, I had just finished Nehemoth. Then I'm going to be covering Lilith and the rest of those spheres and give you an in-depth understanding of how these spheres operate, what it's like going through them from my own personal experience, having worked through all this myself. So that's where you'll be able to gain access to that content from those videos that I have on my Patreon. Then you go to the second link below. That's going to take you to my Facebook community. You click that. You're going to see a pin post that says private group here. Click that, request to join the private group. Once I get 50 people in there, I'm going to be posting consistently in the form of written and in the form of pictorial quotes. So definitely make sure you check that out. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day or night wherever you are, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.